Look at the pictures. What shapes do you see? Trace the moon in each picture. How does it change? The night sky contains stars and the moon. Stars are bright, hot, shining objects just like our sun. Our sun is a star. The moon is not a star. It's cool, white, and is a lot closer to us in space. Is a lot closer to us in space. Moon has many shapes.
Hello to everyone. Welcome to my science class. Today I am going to talk about the phases of the moon. I think you know the moon. The moon and the sun is the most obvious object in the sky. I am sure that when you look at the sky at night, you see the bright silver face of the moon. So have you ever tried to watch the moon carefully? Do you think the moon looks the same every night? Or does the shape of the moon change on nights? I can tell you that the shape of the moon changes all the time. On some nights the moon is full circle. On another's night, it is a little sliver in the sky. It's like magic. Isn't it? Have you ever wondered why the shape of the moon is always changing? Actually, the moon doesn't change shape, only you see it that way. So why is the appearance of the moon changing? What's the secret of this magic? Now get to know the moon more closely to answer the question. The moon, the only natural satellite of the Earth, isn't a light source. It doesn't emit light. The moon reflects sunlight from the sun to the Earth. This is exactly the secret of the moon being visible. In this way, the illuminated surface of the moon reflecting the light can be seen from the Earth. I know it can be hard to understand. But, think about the moon. You know that the moon has a spherical shape and moves around the Earth. As the moon moves around the Earth, it also gets sunlight. Remember, half of the moon is always lit by the sun. This surface can be seen from the Earth. But it doesn't always look the same. Because the moon's illuminated surface changes depending on its motion. As the moon moves around the Earth, the moon's position changes relative to the Earth and the sun. The moon's position changes slightly every night and looks a little different. As a result, the moon seen from Earth in different shapes. These different shapes of the moon observed from the Earth are called the phases of the moon. I hope you got it right. Now let's see the phases of the moon. First of all, you need to learn the meanings of some words. Waxing moon, it means an increase in the illuminated surface in science language. It'll become more and more bright. Waning moon, it means a decrease in the illuminated surface in science language. It'll be getting dark. And then you can learn the phases of the moon. So let's start. New moon. This phase where the moon is between the sun and Earth. The new moon is one of the major phases of the moon. In this phase the side of the moon facing the Earth is dark. The moon is invisible from the Earth. Waxing crescent. After a few days, you start to see the moon again. From the Earth, the moon looks like an inverted letter C. First quarter. It appears 1 week after the new moon phase. It is the phase where the right side of the moon facing the Earth is illuminated. This phase is the major phases of the moon. The illuminated part of the moon is like the letter D. Waxing gibbous. It appears between the first quarter and the full moon. In these days, the lighted side of the moon increases. It is like a full moon, but of course, the full moon gets the light the most. Full moon. Full moon appears a week after the first quarter. It is one of the major phases of the moon. The moon looks like a big bright round. The side of the moon facing the Earth reflects light, and the moon shines like the sun. So far, you have seen the 2 weeks from the new moon to the full moon. When the moon isn't visible, it becomes fully visible after 2 weeks. These phases, where illumination of the moon increases from the new moon to the full moon, is called waxing phases. Actually, the phases of the moon take about a month to complete. Well, what about the remaining 2 weeks? This time you will see the moon's reverse movements. These 2 weeks are called waning phases, from the full moon to the new moon. Come and look now. The next phase is waning gibbous. This phase is seen when the moon passes from the full moon to the third quarter. In these days, the bright phase of the moon decreases. Third quarter or last quarter. It can be seen 1 week after the full moon phase. This phase where the left side of the moon facing the earth is illuminated. The moon looks like an inverted letter D. Waning crescent. When observed from the earth, the moon looks like the letter C. Dark moon. It appears 1 week after the third quarter phase. It is the last phase of the moon phases. New moon or dark moon both represents the same moon. That's the phases of the moon. I hope you understand. Now you know why the moon has different shapes. You can prepare the lunar calendar to not forget the moon's phases. See you again in another video.